You know what? At least now we have an option.
Thank
right,
you.
guys? We know what to buy. All right, now let's go
Finally.
over to Sessler, who's already pre-ordered everything shiny and new from CES.
All right.
And that's funny that death of high definition biggest thing, but because that was just proven to be incorrect, some of those rumors.
It's time to deconstruct CES.
I'm really excited about can Adam do the can he do the panel?
2008 was no different. Microsoft's Bill Gates speculation about a new Xbox 360 with HD DVD playback and a 320-gigabyte hard drive, the new console failed to materialize. Instead, Microsoft championed its growth of 360 console owners, Xbox Live users, and the progress of Vista as a gaming platform. Meanwhile, Sony's PlayStation Portable continues to evolve with Skype and GPS on the way. And Sony incorporated the new ability to put a Blu-ray disc movie into a PlayStation 3 and copy the film to a PSP or memory stick. But the biggest news out of CES is what didn't happen. Toshiba canceled its state-of-the-HD DVD format presence after Warner Brothers shocked the tech community by exclusively backing Blu-ray. Will an improved Xbox 360 ever come? And is Sony finally a competitive portable gaming player? Phil, we hardly knew ya. It's The Loop. All right, joining us via satellite to help make sense of it all are our guests tonight. From San Francisco, he's the executive editor for Electronic Gaming Monthly, Shane Bettenhausen. And also in San Francisco, editor for Wired's Game Life blog, Chris Kohler. So thanks very much for you guys coming here on the show. Now, a lot of us were...
And I really wonder, has Adam worked with these guys before?
This big Microsoft announcement of, like, this new Xbox, the Xbox Ultimate, the Whopper, the Extreme, I don't know what it was, but it never materialized. Chris, what happened here? Were we really off base?
I think so. I mean, historically, right, every CES, Bill Gates keynote CES, and then what happens is there's rumors beforehand of some huge announcement that's going to happen, and every single year the rumors never pan out. And so I think I don't know why people just keep whipping themselves into a frenzy over these announcements that just are never going to materialize.
Yeah, I was even wondering, like, why would there be like a fifth iteration of the Xbox 360?
Shane, I mean, are you really... Yeah.
No,
really,
I was wondering if
with another one?
I can't understand why. I'm sorry about that there, guys. Shane, did you have any indication that might actually happen?
Well, there were some rumors that came out, and they seem pretty concrete. They're from good sources. And if you look at that keynote, it seemed, content light. There wasn't a lot of actual stuff announced. There was a lot of sketches, a lot of funny stuff. It seemed like something had been removed. Whether or not that was the Ultimate or some other HD DVD content, it seemed like I think something was canceled from that conference.
Now, the Seattle Times also indicated there might be something even bigger, such as Microsoft licensing the 360 technology to other electronics manufacturers. That, to me, struck me as like almost ridiculous, but did that hold any merit with you guys?
I certainly think that it's a possibility that Microsoft might want to do that. I mean, Microsoft is not a hardware company. They want to have, their software, and they want to own your living room. And if that means that other people are making the Xbox for them, I mean, they're taking a bath on the Xbox hardware still. Why not have somebody else, make the Xbox, and Microsoft can just provide the software and the services like Xbox Live?
Yes, no, Shane, do you think there's any truth to this?
Well, yeah, I mean, consider the Red Ring of Death scenario. Like, hardware is not Microsoft's strong suit. They should probably have Toshiba make their consoles for them.
Very good, very good point. Now, moving on to the PSP. Now, they showed up with Skype, they showed up the GPS, they showed up quite a few things that weren't exactly game-related to the PSP. What does this indicate? Are they having faith in it as a game machine, or are they having to expand it to make it more palatable for other devices? Let's go for you there, Chris.
Oh, well, I mean, if you look at have you seen the sales of PSP software on the NPDs? The answer is that no, you haven't, because PSP software sales are not even good enough to get up into the handheld charts, which are totally dominated by the DS. The issue with the PSP is that people are buying the system. People are buying the new slim PSP, at faster rates than they were buying the old one, but I have no idea what they're doing with it, because they're not buying a lot of games on UMD. So, I mean, Sony, I think, at this point is kind of, really being very scattershot in terms of, okay, well, let's put Skype on it, let's put the GPS on it, let's add a keyboard, let's see what it is people want to use the PSP for. Because it is a really, it's a cheap piece of hardware for what it delivers, at $170. And so, obviously customers are seeing some value out of that, and that's what we're seeing with Skype and things like that.
So, Shane, do you think you're going to be running out to get another PSP just so you can, call people for cheap?
Well, you do have to have one of the new slimline PSPs. It's like a memory issue. It won't work on the fat PSP.
That's a very good
If you already
point.
have one, that is a good point. But I think it's great. I think Skype is a cool feature, and also the announcement that you can put a Blu-ray movie onto your PSP. That's fantastic. That's the kind of thing people have been asking for. You know, Sony is wise to make the PSP do more than just games. It's an iPhone competitor now.
Now, also, of
Well,
course,
as far as the Blu-ray movies go, Shane, I mean, you know, what you have to keep in mind is that the Blu-ray movie is going to have the low-res PSP version on the Blu-ray disc. You can't just rip Blu-ray movies and put them on the PSP.
well, I think the other question is how long is it going to take to actually make that transfer happen? I know trying to get a high-def movie onto my Xbox 360 can be a rather arduous process. But moving on, also...
Well, it shouldn't take that long.
No, hopefully
because the
not.
file's going to be on there.
Well, I would like to think so. I need to see that one to
Yeah.
believe it. Okay, so the other big thing that obviously happened at CES was the fact that HD DVD lost the support of Warner Brothers, and it looks like Blu-ray is finally getting that edge. Do you think this is going to have any impact between the PS3 and the Xbox 360? Let's go for you there, Shane.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I mean, Blu-ray being the one format moving forward, consumers have been very confused as what to buy. This allows people to invest in Blu-ray, know it's going to last, and PS3 is a good deal as a Blu-ray player and as a console. And I think Microsoft, they are still kind of in bed with HD DVD. They're part of the marketing alliance for that. If they're going to continue that if they're going to back HD DVD, they need to continue backing it. Or if they're going to go to Blu-ray, they need to make that decision.
Yeah, now Microsoft has indicated that they would consider going to Blu-ray if that really does become the dominant format. Now, could you foresee that world there, Chris, where actually there's a Sony aspect inside of the Xbox 360?
I don't necessarily think that Microsoft needs to go Blu-ray this generation. I think that Microsoft, if they weren't going to have the leading movie platform inside their box, made the right decision to have neither of them, which let them get the Xbox 360 out sooner and at a lower price, which is really helping them, obviously, in the console wars versus the PS3. Next generation, if Blu-ray is the dominant movie format, if everybody's got a Blu-ray drive and they all demand it, yeah, of course, Microsoft's going to put, they'll put Blu-ray into the Xbox 720 or whatever you want to call it. They don't care.
Well, I can see them holding their nose, though, when they install it. Now, let's just get a final thoughts on what CES meant for gaming this year. Let's start with you, Shane.
It really wasn't that big for gaming. It was more about functionality, about these formats. There were very few games there. So, wait for E3 for games. This is not a gaming show.
Yeah, seriously. Like, why are people talking about games for CES?
Forecasting for games in 2008.
I don't think we necessarily need to wait for E3. I think that GDC will probably bring a lot of big announcements too. But yeah, CES overall, again this year, a few interesting announcements. We see where Sony's going with PSP, moving it maybe a little bit away from video games specifically. But other than that, another CES, another kind of disappointment.
All right, actually, we have a little bit more time, so if I could get an E3 prediction from both of you, what's going to be the big thing we're going to talk about at E3 this year? If you can look into your crystal ball. We'll start with you, Shane.
Man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be, everyone has a lot of good games. It's going to be, will Sony really have the software this year? Are the big games coming out this year for PS3?
And for you, Chris?
Yeah, as far as Sony goes, it's going to be, the games they showed in 2007. Nintendo, we have no visibility on what their Christmas games are, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have for the latter half of 2007, or 2008, rather.
And at the very least, it's all going to be under one roof, finally, after last year's, odd way of selling things.
Or something.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate that, and thanks for keeping us all in the loop. All right, so now let's go over to Morgan Webb, who also made up a little shopping list while she was at CES.
Thanks, Adam. Now, next week, we
Good job,
have
Adam.
all new X-Play, and
It's hard. I know it'd be hard, but very good job, very concise, great questions, good follow-ups, good jokes too.
She's going to be coming to you
way to go,
live
man.
twice a week.